Hey everyone, Blockchain Bernie here. The storage chaos, the storage nightmare on the Solana chain, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And I'll show you everything, how it all works, the storage model in Solana. What are its pitfalls? What does Anatoly, the founder of Solana, think about the state of storage on Solana? And I'll dive into a specific case, which is Jito, and how much are they paying just for storage to keep track of all their stakers. All right, so let's dive right into it. If you like content like this, smash that like button for me. It's so important for the YouTube algorithm to get our content out to more people. It also gives you points on points.xandeum.org, so don't forget to do that. All right, let's dive right into it here. This is a tweet from not too long ago from Anatoly Yakovenko, the founder of Solana. He says state rent, state rent. So what does that mean? When he says state, he means storage. The only storage that's available on the Solana chain is the Solana accounts. So Solana accounts means you can store data real fast on the Solana chain, but it doesn't scale capacity-wise. You cannot store gigabytes, terabytes, exabytes of data as you can do on Web 2, and I'll dive into that later in this video, so please watch it all to the end. So what is it that Toly says? State rent, right? That's how it was designed. Solana accounts were costing rent in the beginning. So he says state rent, as initially implemented, was a good idea, but terrible implementation and design. Man, Toly, you should have supervised that. Either way, accounts, so Solana accounts, that's the storage units, they need to be charged dollar per day for storage. He is so right. We need to charge dollars per day, dollars per whatever unit of time, because that's what, that's what validators or storage providers will have to pay, right? I mean, it's the product of the storage capacity and the time. And that's how it was on the Solana chain in the early days, but it got lost. So let's read on here. There should be no rent exemption. So that was a thing. There was a optional rent exemption on the Solana chain early on. So if you deposited like 2 years of rent for your storage needs, then you were rent exempt, right? So at some point, they changed everything and said everyone has to be rent exempt. You'd have to deposit, you will have to deposit 2 years of rent beforehand. Otherwise, you can't even create that Solana account. But right now on Solana, you will get all that money back when you close the account. So basically, you have the storage almost for free, right? Of course, you cannot stake your sol while you have deposited that into the Solana account. So the cost is basically the yield that you cannot make, while you have the account open. But this is a design flaw that crept in to Solana at some point in time. And there should be no rent exemption. That's what he's saying here, and I absolutely agree. Hitting zero. So when you take out the money, whatever you deposited there should result in compression and not deletion. And normal active users should automatically re-up the balances to keep hot accounts resident. So I was asking him a few questions here. Yes, rent exemption has always been a sus concept to me. Where should the hot accounts balances get re-upped from? So that's an open question. So he probably means the users have to re-up it, but I just wanted to know here, what does he mean auto re-upped? And then when the balance hits zero, he said it should result in compression. So that sounds like to me, okay, the balance is zero, so I'm paying nothing. So the compressed storage would be for free. And then he said nothing is free. So it seems like he hasn't thought this through very much, but at least he sees the problem, right? Totally sees the problem that there can be no rent exemption because otherwise it will be exploited. And we see that right now. Snapshots on Solana are like almost 80 gigs right now, and they are almost increasing like 10 gigs each and every week. So if you ask me, that's going to be a big, big problem, a big, big time bomb, and it won't take long until that explodes. And yeah, let's look a little bit into what that actually means, right? So let's see, let's take Jito with their Jito liquid staking, right? And you know, we here at Xandeum, we're just developing the Xandeum liquid staking pool. It's going to be launched real soon. It's going to have a few very cool features and a lot of innovations that have never been done before on the Solana chain. So, but right now, talking about the Jito liquid staking pool, right? Jito needs a lot of accounts, right? So each validator that they delegate to has a tip distribution account, right? So let's look into some of these tip distribution accounts, and I've prepared that here. All right. So what we see here, Solana account, and then this account here, that is a tip distribution account. That's a tip distribution bound for the Xandeum validator. Its balance is just the rent exempt amount here, so that the account stays open. And we see the length is 168 bytes, right? So 168 bytes per validator, right? Let's say we have 2,000 validators. So that would be 168 times 2,000. So that's already 336,000 bytes. And then we have the so-called claim status accounts, right? So we're right here on some of these tools that Jito provides. And we have the addresses here of some of these claim status accounts, right? So what I've been doing here is look into the claim status accounts also. Done that here, one of these from that list. And they are 104 bytes, right? So we said 336,000 bytes is just the tip distribution accounts for 2,000 validators. But each of these validators has a lot of stakers, and each staker has a claim status account, right? So it's like 2,000 validators, and our validator, the Xandeum validator, has like 5,000 stakers. So by the way, thanks everyone for staking with us, right? So yeah, let's say of these 2,000 validators, on average, they might have 1,500 stakers. That would be 1,500 times 2,000. So that is 3 million, right? So we're talking 3 million, at least 3 million bytes here, right? So what we can do here in the Solana command line, we can say Solana rent, right? Rent, and let's say 1,000 bytes, right? So the rent exempt minimum will be this here, right? For 1,000 bytes. So now what we have is not 1,000 bytes. It's 3 million of these accounts, right? So we had 3 million claim status accounts. Is that right? 2,000. Let's do that again. 2,000 times 1,500. Yeah, 3 million times 104 bytes, right? So that's 312 million bytes. Okay. Solana rent 312 million. So the rent exempt minimum is 2,171 sol, right? 2,171.52 sol times, let's say, $145 per sol. That's 2,171.52 times 145. That's $300,000 for just one epoch worth of claim status accounts, right? And what Buffalo recently posted on Discord is they need to keep a few epochs of all these stuff. Maybe the average number of stakers is more than 1,500 per validator. So it might very well be that they need to store way more. We had that 314,000 now per epoch. They need to store at least 6, 7 epochs or so to have the history, right? They cannot delete and close the accounts immediately because some people might not claim that fast, right? So he recently posted that he has bound $2 million, right, on the Solana chain just for having these accounts there, right? But the problem is for people that don't need it for that long, they will get it back all, and we have no state rent anymore here due to some change that crept into the Solana chain at some point in time. But what you also seen, right? It was just 3 MB here. That costs a lot of money. So what if we want to do like a gigabyte, right? So let's do that again here with the Solana rent command, right? Solana rent, and let's say one, boom, 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 boom. So that would be about a gigabyte here. That'd be 6,900. So that'd be like $1 million, approximately, right? So, and a gigabyte is nothing. So if you think of like Web 2 apps that have databases that store all their users' data, it's easy to have at least a few terabytes there, right? That would be billions of dollars here, right? Just to create these accounts. And you have to put that money up front in order to be able to create these Solana accounts. So the Solana accounts don't scale storage capacity wise. Each and every validator has to store all these things, so it has a natural limit. It will go into the Solana snapshots that are being used so often. They're being downloaded, created all the time. If these grow another 10x, 100x, it will just be impractical. So what is needed here is a scalable storage layer, right? And that means offloading storage, right? Not the Solana account. I mean, the Solana accounts need to be fixed, right? They need to be back to rent and not just that rent exempt amount as Toly stated here. But in addition to the Solana accounts, we need something scalable to make real Web3 possible. And that's what we're working on here at Xandeum. So I couldn't be more proud to be working on that. Go to Xandeum.com if you want to learn more. Also stake with our Xandeum validator. And with this storage layer, we are offloading. We have a second layer of Solana accounts. The Solana accounts are just like the RAM of the blockchain, right? It is quite fast. It's tightly integrated, but it doesn't scale capacity-wise to where we want to be. So if the Solana counts as the RAM of the blockchain, we need kind of the disk of the blockchain, the hard disk, the SSD of the blockchain. And that's what the Xandeum buckets are. The Xandeum buckets will not be stored directly on the validators. They will be stored on our PNodes, the provider nodes. These are the storage provider nodes. And these are being supervised by the validator. So there's going to be a special validator software the Xandeum Validator software that supervises these PNodes and adds new primitives to the developer that develops Solana apps so that they can not only harness the Solana accounts, even the Solana accounts are broken right now, but I trust on Solana they fix that, as I've shown you today. But we need that additional layer, that offloaded layer that really scales, and that is integrated into Solana so that each and every Solana dApp developer can just write apps and access that hard disk of the blockchain. So that's what Xandeum is all about. Go to xandeum.com if you want to know more. But, this was an overview of the storage chaos that we currently have on the Solana chain. And trust me, no other chain out there is any better than that currently. No other chain other than Solana has a scalable storage layer, right? Just to the contrary, the Solana accounts are the cheapest and fastest that we have there, right? Um, so even there, it's broken. And then if we want scalable storage that we need to develop real Web3 apps, there is nothing right now. So there is a lot of chaos. There is a lot of problems to be solved. And we are solving these problems here at Xandeum. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.